Sunday, 8 January 2023, COVID-19 pandemic chronology / video update. Video update with updates for the day. What have I got? So my Grandma Connie had COVID-19 twice over the holidays. She tested positive, tested negative, started testing positive again, and is now testing negative again. So we're working on scheduling Christmas 2022. And it is looking like it might be, or sounding like it might be the week, trying to schedule it between, somewhere between 16 January and 22 January. So in that, inclusive, so it might be the 16th, it might be the 22nd, but in that time frame. So we're still working on celebrating Christmas 2022. Because she had COVID-19. So that's with her. So that's Grandma Connie. And then the second update for today is I've been working on pandemic pit crew writing and publishing work on Yelp. So instead of Wikipedia, Yelp this time. And so that one's been interesting. I've decided, I think when I have published reviews in January on Yelp, the most I've ever done in 1 month is 3 reviews, and the most I've ever done in 1 day is like 2 reviews, if I'm recalling correctly. And so I have tied my all-time month high. I wrote and published 3 reviews today, and I did it in 1 day. So I have a new most number of reviews for 1 day in January. So all-time high there for January. I checked this morning, so assuming my documentation and recall is correct, that's correct. And I did some stuff. I wrote about theater I used to go to at Kahala Mall in Honolulu. I lived there for approximately 3 years. I wrote a review for a go-karting place kind of in the greater Seattle area where I went with my family growing up. My sister if there's a community notoriety or fame that she has, it is that she is a very reckless driver. And like she tailgates, people follows, 3 inches behind them, almost bumper to bumper, which has resulted in her hitting a car before when they went to slow down and she was too close and just rammed them. She has been known to piss people off, and so they'll key her car. And this is all leading up to at this go-karting place, she lost control of the go-kart and rammed into one of the barriers and blacked out. The helmet was fine. Seatbelts worked. She was okay. There was no brain damage short term, and there's been no brain damage long term. Long term being that was over a decade ago, and she's still fine. But it was a kind of a community. Her driving habits on the road and stuff were also reflected in her go-kart racing style, in what happened. And so, yeah, it kind of rattled my parents at the time, like I think it would any kind of vigilant parents. So I wrote a review about that one and was very thankful that the employees responded quickly and took it seriously. And then the third one was for Taproot Theater Company in Greenwood, which is a place I went with friends growing up. I have a lowered or shifted threshold of hearing, meaning things that sound like a whisper to other people sound normal to me. So like in undergrad, the number 1 comment I got about my hearing growing up was, or not growing up, but my hearing was, how can you hear that? And it was because I can't handle loud noises, but I can handle soft noises, and soft noises or quiet noises to most people kind of can, not always, but can sound normal to me. So I can hear someone talking, kitty corner all the way across the room with a bunch of people speaking. I can hear that person who's like whispering to their lab partner perfectly fine. And so that was something that did not fail to amaze some of my lab mates in school. And so, yeah, it's also true. I can see ultraviolet light, violet light, which not all humans can, but it's also not uncommon. In my shifted hearing threshold, it's like 2% of humans or something, studies have shown. So like, it's not like rare, or there's multiple percentage that have similar hearing and eyesight to me. However, it is not also like the norm. So yeah. And so that's one of the things that's just, it was interesting reflecting on it, because I couldn't go to, so typically had problems going to the theaters. I've not really ever entertained working for the music industry because I can't go to concerts because it hurts my eardrums. And so theater was the same, and it would hurt my eardrums to such an extent that I would go and see a play at local theater and I would get a headache. And so this place, Taproot Theater Company, had really good acoustics, and it was one of the few places where I went growing up where I could watch a play and the acoustics didn't bother my ears, so I could actually concentrate on the performance. And so that's something that's nice about movies, is I can put it in and adjust the audio as need be on a DVD player or on my computer. And so I don't really have those problems. It's a theater or concert or amphitheater, which is still technically, I guess, a theater, kind of specific. But yeah, so I wrote reviews and published reviews already about those things. But it was an interesting blast to the past in a way, because it was kind of like, oh yeah, some people like think, oh, lowered or shifted, like my hearing is like a bat, and it's like, no, it's not like a bat, and it's not like a superpower, because it comes with a pretty big, like, if they're blasting audio at a sporting event and it hurts my eardrums and gives me a headache, I'm not going to go to the sporting event. I'm not going to go to the concert, that kind of stuff. So there's it might on the surface sound pretty cool, but it's actually, there's a pretty big drawback kind of thing. And with my eyesight, it's not shifted, it's just I can see a broader range of colors than most people. Was it like, yeah, which is, it's not unusual, but it is also not the norm. At least per scientific findings, when I was like looking into this kind of stuff, or not looking into it, but I encountered it when I was reading about brain functionality for recovering my memory, my long-term amnesia, kind of addressing that. So it was just kind of like, wow, I have some different stuff, but it's not like rare stuff. So yeah, but that was kind of fun and a good start to the year, and getting off to the, if I write one more review and publish it this month, January 2023 on Yelp, it'll be an all-time new record. So I've tied my record, my all-time record, if I hit 4 or more. So that's pretty cool. Pandemic paid for writing work, because which I took wholeheartedly in 2020, was like a bunch of businesses were closing down, and was like, we got to keep Yelp functioning, write reviews. So going back to stuff I've been to before, but might not have been to during the pandemic yet. It might not go during the pandemic, depending on when it ends globally. The pandemic is a global thing. Yeah, but just kind of being like, still writing, because some people are looking at stuff to be like, well, do I want to go there when things reopen? So being very cognizant of still putting new writing out there. So happy Sunday update.